Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the MOTHERLODE Mythic Plus Dungeon Guide for Season 2 in the War Within, including all the changes introduced for this iteration of the dungeon. We're going to go over all important boss and trash mechanics, starting with the first area where you're going to encounter the refreshment vendors. Make sure to kick their Ice Prizer, as this one does damage and also stuns the target if it goes off, which is magic dispellable, but it's better if it doesn't happen. And beware of the adult ducks. They're going to target somebody, charge him, do a bunch of damage and knock them up. And they also do inhale vapors, which enrages them, increasing their melee attack speed, so if you can suit them, that's always best. The big mechanized peacekeepers are going to cast Charge Shield on themselves, it's not interruptible, and after that their melee attacks start to cast Chain Lightnings to your teammates, doing heavy AoE damage, and then they're going to cast Tear Gas, which summons green puddles on the ground. You need to dodge them, and then stay out of them until they expire. The next dangerous mob is the Hired Assassin, which is going to channel Fan of Knives. This one does heavy AoE damage, it's not interruptible, but you need to CC or stun it to prevent the damage. And then always save an interrupt for their Toxic Blades cast, which is going to apply a dot to everyone in your party if you let it to go off. You're also going to encounter the little mech jockeys, which are going to run to a nearby deactivated peacekeeper once you drop them low, and they're going to try and activate it. Make sure to stun or CC them, as this is not interruptible, but if they succeed, you're going to have to fight a fully activated mechanized peacekeeper, and you definitely don't want to do that. The first boss is the Crowd Pummeler, who is going to cast Static Pulse. This one knocks everyone back, does a bunch of damage, and leaves an 8-second dot on everyone. After that, he just drops coins around the room. Make sure to not get hit by them and move the boss away. At 100 energy, he casts Coin Magnet and sucks all the coins around him, buffing him, so you want to make sure that he is in an open, clear area. He's also going to summon bombs around the room. You want to get behind them and kick them towards the boss to hit him. They're going to increase the damage that he takes for 15 seconds, but if you fail to do so, they're going to explode and do damage to you. And of course, he has a big frontal that you need to dodge. In the second area, you're going to see some Wanton Sappers, which explode in a big circle when they die, so make sure to dodge that. Save an interrupt for the Earthshapers, which are going to try and cast Rock Lance. But the most dangerous mob here is the Azerokk Extractor. The rapid extraction does heavy AoE damage and puts a lot of circles on the ground that you need to dodge. This mob also has a puncture. This is a tank buster that also leaves a bleed, so be careful when you pull those. You will also fight some Stone Furies. Make sure to interrupt their Tectonic Barrier. This is not only an absorb shield, but it's also going to prevent you from interrupting their next cast, which is a huge AoE called Furious Quake, pulsing AoE damage as well as a slowdown effect that you definitely want to interrupt. Just before the second boss, you're also going to fight a mini boss called Taskmaster Ascari. He's going to charge a person and do a massive slam, get out of the big orange circle, and watch your tank because he does a stacking bleed on them. He's also going to buff himself with a stacking enrage buff called Overtime. So the longer he's alive, the more damage your tank is going to take because of the stacking bleed and the stacking buff. Kill him and you're at the second boss, Azerokk. Make sure to dodge his big frontal cone at all times. And make sure to run away from the ads that are going to fixate a random player, so try to CC them and slow them down as much as you can. He also has a Resonant Quake cast, which does AoE damage and slows everyone for 6 seconds, making it even harder to run away from the ads. And killing the ads is not going to help you a lot because he just summons more after they die. So you're pretty much guaranteed to have 2 at all times. However, once he casts Azerite Infusion and channels for 4 seconds at one of the ads, which by the way is going to heal that ad back up to 100%, you want to switch and focus it down as quickly as possible because it is now empowered and it's doing pulsing AoE damage. However, it is also taking 200% increased damage itself. So kill it as quickly as possible, rinse, repeat, and on to the next part. Here you're gonna fight the Venture Co-Alchemists, who are going to cast Caustic Compound. You want to interrupt that as it does initial damage but also leaves a nasty dot on the target. They also have one more cast called Transmute Enemy to Goo that just turns the person into a blob, making them unable to cast abilities for 10 seconds, so make sure to interrupt this one as well. The Masterminds are going to cast Brainstorm that summons 3 little circles that turn into tornadoes, doing damage and silencing everyone inside, so make sure to dodge those. And be careful with their Mind Lash ability, which is a 4-second channel that does damage to random targets around them. Some of the pack also have weapon testers that do AoE damage and have a fronto, and after you navigate your way through the packs here, you get to the third boss. Rixxa Fluxflame is going to use big circles to deny huge area from the ground around her. And then she's going to use Azerokk Catalyst. She targets a player and they drop even more big circles that deny even more area in the arena. She's then going to target a player with Propellant Blast. That's a big frontal cone that pushes them back, does a bunch of damage, but also pushes back these circles on the ground. So try to clean around if you're targeted, but run away if you're not. And that's pretty much it. She's supposed to put a magic dispellable dot onto 3 targets, but that was not present on the PTR, so hopefully it doesn't get into the live servers as well. In the last area, you're gonna fight some ordnance specialists which do artillery barrage. Big orange circles that you need to dodge, a lot of them. And then you have the big war machines which are going to channel Charge Shot for 4 seconds, doing AoE damage to everyone around them. They're also going to summon mines which are present in the area even without being summoned. They fixate a player. If they reach them, they're gonna explode for a lot of damage, so make sure to slow them down and CC them while DPSing them down. If you navigate your way through the minefield, you'll be at the last boss, Mogul Razdunk. While you fight him, there's gonna be drones flying above the battlefield and occasionally shooting a lot of orange swirlies on the ground. You can of course try to dodge them, but also keeping eye on those drones so you know where the swirlies are gonna be coming from helps a lot. The boss himself is going to target a player with a homing missile that is going to chase you and eventually hit you, doing a lot of damage and leaving a dot on the player that got hit. Make sure to run this away from everybody else so you're the only person in the big orange circle to prevent other players from taking damage. The boss is also going to cast Gatling Gun. This is a frontal, and while he's channeling that, he's also spinning around in a full circle, so make sure not to get hit. At about 50%, he becomes immune to damage, starts flying, and summons down 3 pillars which land in big orange circles that you need to dodge. He's then going to target a random player with a red arrow. You need to run next to a pillar and wait for him to come over you and try to smack you. At this point, you move away from the circle and the pillar removes a stack from his immune shield. You need to do this 3 times to end this phase. While you're baiting him to the pillars, he also summons 2 Sky Scorcher adds. Focus them down as the boss is immune to damage anyway, and they're gonna be buster shotting random players for a bunch of damage. Ideally, you want to kill them before the boss lands, and after that, the fight continues the same way as it was in phase 1 until you kill the boss. That's gonna be all for this MOTHERLODE Mythic Plus guide, but if you want to find more Mythic Plus content for Season 2 in the War Within, check out this channel. I'll see you in the next video. Now get out of here.